Get straight on with the action from a rather damp and cold Brands Hatch and join our commentary team of James Whittam and Jack Burnicle.
A full grid sets off towards Paddock Hill Bend. Here we are at Brands Hatch, back at Brands Hatch. We're on the Indy circuit. The original 1 mile circuit opened Easter Sunday 1950, but that actually was 1 mile round running in the opposite direction. Didn't have this hill up towards Druids. It really was a little kidney shape without that rise up to Druids Hill Bend and the drop back down. It was great to see Hector Neal, the owner of the co-owner with his son Philip of the Taz Suzuki outfit, giving a thumbs up after he'd acted as umbrella boy for Josh Brooks, giving Josh a thumbs up because at breakfast this morning Hector said to me, it's going to be good for somebody. And already it's not good for Jenny Tinmouth. Oh, the lady in Bright British Superbikes has gone down on the sighting lap. Jenny Tinmouth has crashed. I think she's all right. Oh, and it's that Graham Hill Bend again.
It is.
Oh, she's come down the hill. She's come off down the hill from Druids. Wow.
And do you know what? That's easily done, you know, because you're unsighted, people in front of you, and it just takes a little bit too much pressure on the front brake lever, and it's away. And once it goes, you don't get it back.
So what awful news then for Jenny Tinmouth on the HardingSorrymate.com Honda, who has gone down on the sighting lap. So 31 riders will line up then on the grid with Josh Brooks on pole position for the Tyco Taz Honda.
Yeah, and Josh Brooks,
Suzuki even.
Yeah, looking cool and kind of all right and relaxed, as was Shane Byrne. I've never seen a man as relaxed on when it's conditions like this.
Shaky looked terrifically impressive, particularly on his favourite bit coming out of Druids and the drop down to Graham Hill Bend. He had the bike set up beautifully and it was moving underneath him, but he was really comfortable.
Yeah, and do you know what? Don't matter where we go in Britain or just about any circuit in the world, you know Shaky's going to put a decent performance in on any bike. He's a kind of quality rider, is Shane.
The grid then lines up with Josh Brooks on pole position, and second place goes to John Kirkham. Shane Byrne, John Kirkham there, good time from him. Shane Byrne in third. Tristan Palmer, what an entrance back into British Superbikes for the former Privateers Cup champion. He's on the front row of the grid on the purple GB Motors Honda, that team debuting in British Superbikes. And then Freddie Foray, former World Endurance champion. The Frenchman heads up row 2 ahead of Noriyuki Haga, Tommy Bridewell, who finished on the rostrum here last year, and Michael Rutter. Then we've got Stuart Easton, Lucas Scasser, Ian Lowry and Gary Mason. Fourth row, Seeley, Gowland, Hickman, Walker. Anything could happen. Bang in the middle of picture, Norrie Haga. What history he's got round here since way back in 1998 at Brands Hatch. Can he write some more? Well, it's all possible. Any of these guys... it's going to just depend so much. If Brooks gets the start, he could just set the pace from the front.
He's pointing down the hill. That's the best thing to do up there.
Red lights on the light. Oh, Norrie Haga gets a horrible slide and hit one of those lines you talked of straight off.
That's what it is.
Shaky Byrne leapt to the front. Norrie was turned sideways and he is right back, almost with teammate Tommy Hill near the back of the grid as they go through the straight. Two riders down, straight off down Paddock Hill Bend. I think they're both okay.
One of the WFR boys was definitely off there. That was definitely a WFR Honda.
Dropping down the hill. Oh, this is going to be so difficult. Let's hope they can stop before they reach the path of the bikes. They do.
I think that's got to be, I'm assuming that's got to be a red flag.
And that looks like someone pleading. What did you
Not
do
pleading,
that for?
Yeah, that's exactly what he was. Rollicking is what he was doing.
I think that's probably what it was. Yes, there's two men I think Patrick Muff's one of them. It's a Swiss rider on the right-hand side there who's looking really miffed. Patrick Muff not happy at all, the number 24, the 29-year-old on the supersonic BMW, really furious.
He is furious. I think there's something happening because the riders are detouring, so yeah, that's the course car's out now.
Shaky Byrne, Kirkham, Brooks, Rutter are the front four, Palmer 5th, Mason 6th, Foray in 7th. And look at watch Norrie Haga.
Yeah,
he hit that white line, and that was it.
It's so easy to do. And once you get it spinning, Jack, it doesn't come back. You've got to close the throttle almost entirely to get it gripping again. And I think, here we go. Yeah,
oh, he didn't
even hit the white line. It just went.
And Alistair Seeley got impeded. He had to shut off right behind Norrie Haga
looking
there.
for the WFR Honda. I think it's Westmoreland getting just completely wiped out there.
Ooh, yeah, that's a mess. There's some work to do on that bike to make race 2. But it looks like, oh, is Westy all right? This is one of the Aprilias being taken up. That's Florian Marino, the 18-year-old Frenchman, 8th in the World Supersport Championship last year. What a terrible start to his BSB campaign. Taiko Suzuki looking anxiously on. Byrne leads the way at the moment for the Samsung Honda team. Kirkham is in 2nd place.
Let's see what happened to Patrick Muff.
Ooh, that was a high side that took Muff down. It was a high side coming out of Druids, and it's one of the Samsung bikes. It was Michael Laverty. I think it was Michael Laverty who Patrick Muff was getting aerated with.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, Patrick, but I don't think he did that deliberately.
He didn't. He'd already off the bike.
So Samsung Honda looking on aghast because Michael Laverty has made, well, the worst possible start to his campaign. And Adrian Gorst, the New Zealand crew chief who won World Championships with Colin Edwards, won't be too pleased about that.
No,
I should not imagine.
No further part to play in the race, so his man's out.
Except to mend the bike.
Yep, true.
Shaky Byrne leads the way then on the Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki. The Samsung Honda in 2nd place, number 10 is John Kirkham. 3rd for Josh Brooks, number 2. 4th, number 4, Michael Rutter. 5th, 33, Tristan Palmer. 6th, Gary Mason ahead of Freddie Foray, Tommy Bridewell, Alistair Seeley 9th, Ian Lowry just ahead of his teammate Scasser is in, Lowry is 10th, Scasser 11th, they're on the Paget's Hondas.
And that's Laverty, Michael Laverty on his way back. If he can get back, I mean, and get the bike going and get out there again, he needs to get a lap in to get a grid position, hopefully better than 21st for race 2. The
pace car is coming in on this lap. At the moment, behind the pace car, we've got Stuart Easton in 12th. Norrie Haga is 13th. Chris Walker, who was complaining this morning, well, quite cheerfully, as he would do, that he can't get any feeling from his bike in the wet.
And that's the problem.
His feeling in the dry was good, but he wasn't feeling it very well in the wet. Tommy Hill is already in 17th place, just behind James Hillier and Dan Linfoot. So he's made up 12 places with the help of a few people cartwheeling out. So the Nissan safety car heads up pit lane, and now it's down to Shaky Byrne to set things off. He's looking over his shoulder, he's boxing them in, and then he lights up the Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki and dives into Paddock Hill Bend.
Look at Rutter going into 3rd from 4th. Has he got 3rd? I think he has.
I think he's cutting inside now because he looked to go outside number 2, Josh Brooks. Now he cuts inside into Druids Hill.
Yeah, Brooks on really wide at Paddock Hill.
And now the drop down here. This is so treacherous.
This is the bit. This is the corner. Graham Hill.
Oh, and under Gary Mason just bursts downhill inside Tristan Palmer. 2 Midlandsons going at each other there.
Shaky Byrne sliding. The thing spun all the way out of Graham Hill Bend there.
Shaky Byrne won the opening race of the championship round the Brands Hatch 1.2 mile Indy circuit 12 months ago in rather different conditions. Here, that was Michael Laverty back in the pits.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. They were having a bit of a conflab in that Samsung Honda garage and trying to come up with a plan, and he will want to get out and get a lap in for a grid position in race 2.
Gary Mason's revelling in these conditions. He got the power down really early and veered round the Taiko Suzuki of Josh Brooks through into 4th place.
It's all about getting a little bit of feel, and to get feel you need a little bit of grip, and to do that you need to know where the grip is, because it's very inconsistent. We've seen that Graham Hill Bend's really slippy, a little bit of Clearways are slippy as the track drops away. Other places there seems to be a little bit of grip to be had.
Tommy Hill's gone backwards. He's now behind Scott Smart's Moto Repeat Ducati in 19th place, just ahead of number 53 Sandro Polita on the Gentin Dutzen Panigale Ducati.
It looked like Freddie Foray with his distinctive kind of day-glow yellow helmet was making moves as well.
Yeah, there is Freddie Foray just behind Josh Brooks now, so Freddie Foray is making a move up there.
That's Alistair Seeley's behind, yeah.
Number 10 now at the front, John Kirkham leads the way as they come round to wrap up lap 6 out of 30. And this is a long, punishing race in these conditions.
It is. I tell you what, it's torture in these conditions. But let me tell you, John Kirkham's impressed me all weekend. He says he's fitted in with the team. He loves the team. He's got a really good crew chief. And he's just reveling it. He says they're doing everything he wants and giving him the bike he needs to do what he needs to do.
He was backing it in, really confident.
And that is a confidence thing.
Down the hill, there's 67 Byrne, number 4 Rutter, number 101 Gary Mason.
Mason, yeah.
Behind him, Tristan Palmer just calmly going about his business on the debut of GB Moto in this class. There's the two Taiko Suzukis together. Alistair Seeley leads Josh Brooks.
And in the past, we have seen that John Kirkham's best results have always been in kind of iffy conditions. Damp, puddly, wet, lack of grip conditions.
Look at that, Rutter cuts underneath. Now, can he hold on to that? The two Kawasaki's together, of course. The green one, the more likely Kawasaki, Rutter moves through to second.
Yeah, and Rutter, if anybody can find any kind of traction and grip in these conditions, it's Rutter. He's got all the experience. He was absolutely unbeatable in these conditions some years ago. He's kind of slacked off in these conditions a little bit, but he's still got the experience to make it count.
This is his 371st British Superbike race. There he is, Michael Rutter, 39 years old.
And look at the gang of people behind. It's just, they're all together.
And look, if you look back through that lot, people making progress. 99, Luca Scassa,
yep.
The former Italian Superbike champion with MV Agusta, who also raced a year in the States. He's now 8th ahead of Dan Lindford and Freddie Foray.
Going forward as well is Scassa, because he's just put a 55.9. He's the only other man on track doing 55s. He's Kirkham, and he's only just quicker than Scassa. And that's in traffic for Scassa.
Yes. So the big Italian who has really been enjoying himself here.
There he is.
There he is, number 99, Scassa. He's enjoyed the weather. He's been touring around in his motorhome, looking for places to ride his mountain bike. You could probably help him on that, James.
Oh, definitely if he comes to Yorkshire, yeah. He's looking to get up the inside of Brooks now.
Now, as we go round that, Alistair Seeley now ahead of, or trying to get, he is ahead of Tristan Palmer. So Seeley, who scored his only race win in British Superbikes 2 years ago in these kind of conditions at Brands Hatch, now running 4th.
Yep.
And Tristan Palmer, I know, he's such an unruffleable character.
But do you know, when you speak to him in the paddock, it's like his hobby should be kind of collecting stamps or butterflies or
Airfix kits.
Exactly. But unbelievable the way he can ride a bike like this.
Ian Lowry also looking strong. He's in 10th place, enjoying himself on the Paget's Honda. Foray's now been nudged back to 11th. Hager is 13th. Tommy Hill outside the points in 20th place, lapping 157.1, so well off the pace at the moment. Having said that, he's done a 56.6 and leapt 3 places to 17th.
Fastest man on track, the man in second, Michael Rutter, the Rennmeister.
55.18, fastest lap of the race for that man, Rutter, number 4. Kirkham, John Kirkham, number 10. Oh, we've got a faller. Is that Palmer?
It's Palmer, definitely.
Tristan Palmer was running so well on the GB Motors Fireblade. He's gone down on the purple bike. Qualified it on the front row of the grid. That's cruel luck.
I think there's an handlebar off there by the look of it. I think he's out. There's something wrong. He's not getting that going again. A lever's bust, I think.
Palmer is best lap 55.89. It might hold the man from the Midlands in good stead, of course, for a reasonable starting position on the grid on the second row, but he stalks off.
I honestly think most people doing almost the same times, and people will get quicker towards the end of the race as they get to read the conditions a little bit.
And Michael Rutter with a 54.658. He and Kirkham dip into the 54. So too did Seeley. So too did James Westmoreland down in 14th place. So it wasn't Westy who went down on a WFR Honda.
It wasn't. No, you're right. It was a split lap to Brilliant, I think.
Alex Lowe's is still out there. It could well have been Graham Gowland. Gowland went out right at the beginning. He might have been the guy fetched off. Stuart Easton has come in, and Easton was just on the fringe of the top 10. So Easton, perhaps, after coming back from such very serious injuries, the conditions are simply too much for him to really risk everything out.
Well, I hope the riders down the straight can see a little bit more than we can down the Startbury straight. That's better. Look at this, Rutter. I remember Rutter's breakthrough ride in World Championship racing was... here we go!
That was Scassa.
Yeah, that's Scassa.
That really caught him out, coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. The big Italian looks okay. He
looked to clobber the barrier pretty hard, I've got to say, but he's a big, strong lad, is Scassa.
And he looks a bit thrown about by that.
Let's have a look. But I mean, I've got to say, you cannot do that in the wet. You can't do that in the wet. Glances off the Armco. Yeah,
So Lucas Casso, he looks all right. He's running back up. Oh, he'd be miffed.
He's
with
all
that.
right.
He crossed the line in 6th place. He was really making progress, lapped at a 54.9.
Yeah, Payne does tend to be quite slippy in the wet, Jack.
So 10, Kirkham is at the front. Number 4 behind him is Michael Rutter. But check out Alistair Seeley, now third with a 54.31 time. Oh dear, Ian Lowry backing in as he comes over the crest of the hill towards Paddock Hill. He's now up to 7th place. And tell you what, the mad-eyed Irish boy, he's really enjoying being with Clive Padgett's team, and he's letting it show right now. Here comes Westmoreland getting underneath the green and black Kawasaki in the Quattro Kawasaki of Gary Mason. That means that he moves into 10th place.
Westmoreland riding well.
Very, very comfortably, isn't he? There's number 41, Norrie Hager, in midst of the mayhem. He's just popping himself around in 12th place.
Hager's thinking, what am I doing here?
Yeah, what have I let myself in for? Tell you who's impressing as well. Number 53, Alessandro Polito, is now into the points. The former European Superstock champion, riding bike number 53. The Gentin Dudson Panigale Ducati.
There's Hill. Now 16th as he went up the line. I think might be 15th now with a point.
Kirkham, Rutter, Seeley, Byrne, Brooks, top 5 ahead of Linfoot, who's making some tremendous progress on the build-based BMW. Yeah,
Linfoot, fast and brave.
Yes. The front 3 have that bit of a gap now. Kirkham, Rutter, Seeley, and then Shaky Byrne leading the second wave is 3.5 seconds behind the leader. And then we've got Bridewell 8th, Foray Knight, Westmoreland in 10th, ahead of Mason, Hager now 12th, Chris Walker in 13th, ahead of James Hillier having a good ride in 14th, Sandro Polita in 15th.
Yeah,
the safety car is out. The safety car is out.
I'll tell you what, Jack, these conditions are just the worst you can ride in. You know, there's been oil spill during the weekend. It's just difficult to read the conditions. I love racing in the wet, a lot of these guys do, but I tell you what, when you just can't tell where the grip is.
Michael Laverty there
bike getting fixed. They are really desperate to get that bike out to get a lap, and that's what's got. Is that could be Linfoot, is it?
I think it's number 19, Dan Linfoot. I think it's Dan Linfoot who was making sterling progress. He'd reached, he was under the fringe of the top 6, and you said he was fast and brave, James, and he's just overcooked it on the build-based BMW.
But not a difficult thing to do in these conditions. No. I don't want to disrespect the lad. You know, you've got to go as quick as you can. You've got to find a bit of grip, and it's so easy to go down the road. You can tell that by the amount of riders picking themselves out of the gravel.
So now, Kirkham, Rutter, Seeley sitting together. This means, of course, that Josh Brooks, who'd moved past Shaky Byrne, can close the gap and sit right on the back of Seeley and of his teammate Seeley on the Taiko Suzuki, and think, right, okay, I'm in a good position now to run with the front men. The safety car still out then here at Brands Hatch in filthy conditions. The very first race of the MCE Insurance British Superbike Championship. And the man at the front, number 10, newly committed to Samsung Honda, John Kirkham, former the National Superstock champion. He won that for BMW in 2010. 7th in British Superbikes last year, the best of the rest behind the showdown, with a first ever victory at Croft. And also a second place finish here at Brands Hatch on the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, the long circuit which we're not using today. Interesting to see some of these numbers go through the picture, because just check out Lowry in 6th, Bridewell in 7th, Westmoreland in 8th place, Foray 9th, Hager now in the top 10.
Yeah, Westmoreland's going forward, you know.
We reached a half distance then. This is a 30-lap marathon in these conditions. Good to see that Linfoot is okay. He's in one piece.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, when you go thwacking into an air fence, it looks messy, because I think like that bounces back in the track, and it just looks like there's stuff everywhere. Your bike's stuck underneath it. You can't be seen because you're trying to crawl out. But it is good stuff to it. You know, it's a lot better than it in solid tyres, I'll tell you.
So look at the way they've crowded up behind this. The front 3 had made the break, and now they're going to have to make the break all over again.
Yeah, endeavour to do that at least. I'll tell you where you need to be in that little pack there. Sat in the safety car with the heater on.
You know, it's really quite astonishing that the tall Derbyshireman leading this race, John Kirkham. This is his 138th British Superbike race.
James Hayden just pointed out a real kind of thing. This is perfect for Tommy Hill. You know, everybody's concertinating back together, and it gives him another chance to get through the riders that had really got away from him as he went through the lower end.
And Tommy is now in 15th. Yeah. Behind him, Scott Smart, Peter Hickman, who said he was feeling happier on his bike in the wet than he had done in the dry. So he was hoping for things to happen, but he's back in 17th at the moment, just ahead of the second GB moto bike, the purple bike of Luke Quigley.
Norrie Hager there, and then Tommy Hill there in 15th. I mean, he's going to be in 15th anyway, but with a safety car coming out, it means the 14 riders in front of him are at least doable.
Yeah, he's about 30 metres behind teammate Norrie Hager, and we've had a fallout in this weather. Well, I was going to say in this weather behind the safety car. What happened there then?
I don't know. It's somebody right at the back. He's going to catch the safety car up. I don't know what went on there.
Was it Aaron Zanotti?
I don't know.
Or it might have been.
It is.
Yes, it's Abdulaziz bin Laden from Dubai, the 30-year-old on the Saudi Falcons Motor Rapido Ducati. He was riding right at the back, and the lights on the pace car are out. The pace car's coming in. Now we get moving again. We've got 13 laps to go. Lucky for some, John Kirkham leads it. Michael Rutter in second place. Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Seeley third. Brooks has got the jump. Where's Seeley gone? Where has Seeley gone?
He was in third. He's Seeley. It's number 34.
He's gone. He's disappeared from our timing screens. Well, now he's come back. Sorry, he's back again.
That's definitely Seeley, 34.
Seeley, 34 is there. Brooks, 2 is in 4th.
Yeah.
But whether he can live with the pace that these three were setting, because straight away they've taken off like scalded wet cats.
And he couldn't before. Seeley lost the front a little bit going into Green, but somebody's gone wide.
I thought someone went straight on.
Really, someone went really wide.
I think that might have been James Westmoreland.
It was 27.
He collected it back. So Shaky Byrne in 5th, Ian Lowry 6th, Bridewell 7th, Westmoreland was in 8th place. He might have dropped a little further back than that. There is Alistair Seeley. Seeley, number 34, Super Sport champion last year, 33-year-old from Carrickfergus.
Did you see that, Jack? Seeley got it completely sideways coming out of clearways there. The thing just spun up. It's cost him no time.
Seems to have inspired him. He just drops underneath Michael Rutter and says, thanks, I'll have that line.
Yeah, Rutter quickly turns it and tries to get up the inside into Paddock Hill. Not going to work. Seeley looks a settled man of these three, I'll tell you.
He does. He looks very comfortable, as he's done in these conditions before. Ian Lowry picks another place off for Clive Paget, moves 5th ahead of Shaky Byrne.
One of the things about Seeley is he's a really intelligent lad. You know, if he's... Look at that. Hector Neal. Yeah, it's going to suit somebody, he said this morning. And it might just suit his man, I think.
It is, may not be the man he was expecting it to suit from way back on the grid.
But like I was saying, Seeley is a proper thinker. He will suss it out. He will find out where the grip is. He computes things really, really fast, you know. Both set up on his bike, what he has to do. He knows when to push. I kind of rate the way his brain works is perfect for these conditions.
He's done a bit of endurance racing in his time, you know that 600cc endurance class that goes to Pembrey and things like that. It's a British Championship.
That it is.
As a kid, he was brought over from Ireland to help out Vic and Robbie Allen.
That's it, yeah.
And he won them their class at Pembrey.
And do you know also is in that? The prodigy's Keith Flynn. I think he's had a win or two in that championship himself.
And right now he's hounding John Kirkham, two fellas who've only got to win a piece in... Oh, another moment for Seeley. They've only got to win a piece in British Superbikes, so one of them just could double their score right here at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, and this is one of them races where when it's finished, if you've stayed on, you know you've nearly crashed every single lap and most corners as well.
Seeley, who rode like so many of these guys motocross as a kid, looking to go round the outside and then perhaps cut back, but you can't risk pulling back too tightly. Because if that back wheel, I presume, steps too far out of line, you're a goner. But no, Kirkham, look at Kirkham, he's strong.
It's not just you're a goner if the wheel steps out too far, that's obvious, but the fact is that you just lose traction. Once it starts spinning, no traction control, we've explained that. Here comes, that'll work, I think.
Oh,
yep, it does.
That's terrific, breaking up the hill.
And did you see that? He lost the front going in and just released the brass. That's reactions. Many a rider would have been on the backside there. Not too far from where you're sat.
That was it. If this replay takes it far enough.
Yeah, watch. He tips in. He's got the position. No problem. It's meant he's gone in a little bit too quick. But watch this. Watch. Whoa. No, you missed it. You could see it. You could see it actually better at full speed. He just lost the front momentarily.
So Alistair Seeley,
He's gone.
He's on his way.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's because he kicked off his life in a housing estate. He says, there was a field close by. The police were always chasing us off, but they could never catch me. That's where he got his speed from.
I've done a little bit of that with Chris Walker, you know, when we used to go motocrossing together where we shouldn't have been. And they gave the local police trail bikes to try and catch us. And Walker was that good on his motocross bike, he just baited him. They were never going to catch him.
And Seeley has edged clear. Now Michael Rutter must be thinking, could I find a way past John Kirkham? Fourth place, Josh Brooks. Fifth, the Paget's Honda of Ian Lowry. So we've got two Irish boys in the top 5 with Shaky Byrne in 6th place.
Look how far that Alistair Seeley is staying. I'm just looking. Look how far Alistair Seeley is staying away from the white lines. He does look fairly safe to me. You know, if somebody's running a little bit wide and they take a bit of paint, when it's like this, it will catch him out. And he doesn't. He's not using any of the curves. He's staying away from the white lines at the start and finish. The mark the grid is good.
He crosses the line to complete 23 laps. 23 laps. Fastest man on track momentarily was Josh Brooks, yeah. 54.3. Also fast laps for Shaky Byrne in the 54s. Tommy Bridewell setting their fastest laps of the race. Look at Brooks. Brooks is edging in.
It was Brooks the fastest lap. It just wasn't the fastest lap of this race. There he is. Uh-oh.
Gary Mason's edged back.
Oh, that's Brooks straight on. Brooks went straight on.
Did he?
Definitely, yeah, definitely went straight on. There he is.
And he saved it brilliantly, but it's cost him such a lot of time as he rejoins.
Behind Freddie Foray just.
And there's Alessandro Polita going past him, number 53. Polita was running in 12th place.
Hill's down there, he's 16th, struggling to go any further forward. I thought he would do after that pace car came in.
He's not managed to make any progress. No. There's Polita, who found Josh Brooks rejoining right in front of him. There's Tommy Hill.
This is what happened. You see him fly past the back of the shot, Josh Brooks. Oh, he lost the rear going in. I tell you what.
That was a save.
That was a proper save.
So as we come now back up to Druids Hill Bend with the leaders on the 25th lap of 30. We're getting to the closing stages now. Seeley, Kirkham and Rutter. Ian Lowry in 4th place.
Brilliant.
What a ride after the nightmare kind of couple of seasons of mishmash, this, that and the other he's had.
Just really in the doldrums when we really knew we had quite a lot of talent, you know. Runner-up in pre-supers, but what a good lad as well.
I think they might have found him a cleaner pair of leathers as well. He was wearing his dowdy last year's leathers last year, but Clive Paget had said to him, we'll go with the fast leathers.
I tell you what, when conditions are like this, you want to go with the dirtiest, most bent pair you've got.
Look at Tommy Bridewell attacking Shaky Byrne. Great ride by Bridewell because he's so late into this championship. Just got a glimmer of a hope because Anthony West decided to take a Moto2 ride at the last moment.
And you know what? Before that, he hasn't been on a road race bike or obviously a track for that, or even in track instructing or anything for 6 months.
He has been helping out his extremely quick Devon neighbour Adam Chatfield, a young man who did a lot of racing in North America, was the Brazilian motocross champion. He was mechanicking for him and boarding for him at the British Supercross Championships and loving every minute.
Yeah, he was. We saw him down at...
Two boys from Devisors.
Yep, we saw him down at Birmingham.
Look at number 10, Kirkham regrouping. Now, let's check out the times at the end of this lap. We thought Seeley was getting away. Kirkham has escaped from Rutter's clutches as they crossed the line to complete lap 26. The
Derbyshire lads fancying a bit of this now. Here he comes.
53, 55.0, 54.6.
Oh, quite hard by Seeley there. Well within his rights, but he chopped right across the front. That's what you've got to do.
In conditions like this.
Yeah.
Oh, number 51 has fallen, and that is Luke Quigley, the second of the GB Motorspikes, has gone down.
Yep, got some repairs to do there in that garage.
This really has got and you've got to somehow keep a lid on the adrenaline, James. I don't know what it's like. You know what it's like out there when the conditions are horrible and you want to crack on.
Yeah, it's a real balancing act between pushing on and going as quick as you think you might be able to go, and just knowing that it's so treacherous. Lots of people are crashing around you, and you just know how slippy it is.
Now this is where Kirkham will get the drive, and the Samsung Honda will try and get perhaps alongside. Well, he did last time, but he's far off him this time.
Yeah.
And Seeley takes the defensive line into Paddock Hill. Seeley defends his line into Paddock Hill. 3 laps to go. Seeley in the lead at the moment. Could it be that the wee wizard has his second victory in his sights? There's the Paget's Honda hovering in 4th place, lapping at 54.7, Ian Lowry. Then Shaky Byrne leading the next group, Mason, Bridewell. Then we've got Westmoreland, Foray, Walker rounding out the top 10. There is Norrie Hager running 13th. Great ride by Alessandro Polita.
Yep. Get straight on with the action from a rather damp and cold Brands Hatch and join our commentary team of James Whittam and Jack Burnicle.
A full grid sets off towards Paddock Hill Bend. Here we are at Brands Hatch, back at Brands Hatch. We're on the Indy circuit. The original 1 mile circuit opened Easter Sunday 1950, but that actually was 1 mile round running in the opposite direction. Didn't have this hill up towards Druids. It really was a little kidney shape without that rise up to Druids Hill Bend and the drop back down. It was great to see Hector Neal, the owner of the co-owner with his son Philip of the Taz Suzuki outfit, giving a thumbs up after he'd acted as umbrella boy for Josh Brooks, giving Josh a thumbs up, because at breakfast this morning Hector said to me, it's got to be good for somebody. And already it's not good for Jenny Tinmouth. Oh, the lady in Bright British Superbikes has gone down on the sighting lap. Jenny Tinmouth has crashed. I think she's all right. Oh, and it's that Graham Hill Bend again.
It is.
Oh, she's come down the hill. She's come off down the hill from Druids. Wow.
And do you know what? That's easily done, you know, because you're unsighted, people in front of you, and it just takes a little bit too much pressure on the front brake lever, and it's away. And once it goes, you don't get it back.
So what awful news then for Jenny Tinmouth on the HardingSorrymate.com Honda, who has gone down on the sighting lap. So 31 riders will line up then on the grid, with Josh Brooks on pole position for the Tyco Taz Honda.
Yeah, Josh Brooks.
Suzuki even.
Yeah, looking cool and kind of all right and relaxed, as was Shane Byrne. I've never seen a man as relaxed when it's conditions like this.
Shaky looked terrifically impressive, particularly on his favourite bit, coming out of Druids and the drop down to Graham Hill Bend. He had the bike set up beautifully, and it was moving underneath him, but he was really comfortable.
Yeah, and do you know what? Don't matter where we go in Britain or just about any circuit in the world, you know Shaky's going to put a decent performance in on any bike. He's a kind of quality rider, is Shane.
The grid then lines up with Josh Brooks on pole position, and second place goes to John Kirkham. Shane Byrne, John Kirkham there, good time from him. Shane Byrne in third. Tristan Palmer, what an entrance back into British Superbikes for the former Privateers Cup champion. He's on the front row of the grid on the purple GB Motors Honda, that team debuting in British Superbikes. And then Freddie Foray, former World Endurance champion. The Frenchman heads up row 2 ahead of Noriyuki Haga, Tommy Bridewell, who finished on the rostrum here last year, and Michael Rutter. Then we got Stuart Easton, Lucas Scasser, Ian Lowry and Gary Mason. Fourth row, Seeley, Gowland, Hickman, Walker. Anything could happen. Bang in the middle of picture, Norrie Hager. What history he's got round here since way back in 1998 at Brands Hatch. Can he write some more? Well, it's all possible. Any of these guys, it's going to just depend so much. If Brooks gets the start, he could just set the pace from the front.
He's pointing down the hill. That's the best thing to do up there.
Red lights on the light. Oh, Norrie Hager gets a horrible slide and hit one of those lines you talked of straight off.
That's what it is.
Shaky Byrne leapt to the front. Norrie was turned sideways, and he is right back, almost with teammate Tommy Hill near the back of the grid as they go through the straight. Two riders down, straight off down Paddock Hill Bend. I think they're both okay.
One of the WFR boys was definitely off there. That was definitely a WFR Honda.
Dropping down the hill. Oh, this is going to be so difficult. Let's hope they can stop before they reach the path of the bikes. They do.
I think that's got to be, I'm assuming that's got to be a red flag.
And that looks like someone pleading. What did you do?
Not pleading, yeah, that's exactly what it was. He was rollicking is what he was doing.
I think that's probably what it was. Yes, there's two men I think Patrick Muff's one of them. It's a Swiss rider on the right-hand side there who's looking really miffed. Patrick Muff not happy at all, the number 24, the 29-year-old on the supersonic BMW, really furious.
He is furious. I think there's something happening because the riders are touring, so yeah, that's the course car's out now.
Shaky Byrne, Kirkham, Brooks, Rutter are the front four. Palmer 5th, Mason 6th, Foray in 7th. And look at watch Norrie Hager.
Yeah,
he hit that white line, and that was it. He came
so
to
easy to do. And once you get it spinning, Jack, it doesn't come back. You've got to close the throttle almost entirely to get it gripping again. And I think, here we go. Yeah,
he didn't even
hit the white line. It just went.
And Alistair Seeley got impeded. He had to shut off right behind Norrie Hager.
Looking for the WFR Honda. I think it's Westmoreland getting just completely wiped out there.
Ooh, yeah, that's a mess. There's some work to do on that bike to make race 2. But it looks like, is Westy all right? This is one of the Aprilias. That's Florian Marino, the 18-year-old Frenchman, 8th in the World Supersport Championship last year. What a terrible start to his BSB campaign. Taiko Suzuki looking anxiously on. Byrne leads the way at the moment for the Samsung Honda team. Kirkham is in 2nd place.
Let's see what happened to Patrick Muff.
Ooh, that was a high side that took Muff down. It was a high side coming out of Druids, and it's one of the Samsung bikes. It was Michael Laverty. I think it was Michael Laverty who Patrick Muff was getting aerated with.
Yep.
No, sorry, Patrick, but I don't think he did that deliberately.
He didn't. He'd already off the bike.
So Samsung Honda looking on aghast because Michael Laverty has made, well, the worst possible start to his campaign. And Adrian Gorst, the New Zealand crew chief who won World Championships with Colin Edwards, won't be too pleased about that.
No, I should not imagine. No further part to play in the race, so his man's out.
Except to mend the bike.
Yep, true.
Shaky Byrne leads the way then on the Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki. The Samsung Honda in 2nd place, number 10 is John Kirkham. 3rd for Josh Brooks, number 2. 4th, number 4, Michael Rutter. 5th, 33, Tristan Palmer. 6th, Gary Mason ahead of Freddie Foray. Tommy Bridewell, Alistair Seeley 9th. Ian Lowry just ahead of his teammate Scasser is in, Lowry is 10th, Scasser 11th. They're on the Padgett's Hondas.
And that's Laverty, Michael Laverty on his way back. If he can get back, I mean, and get the bike going and get out there again, he needs to get a lap in to get a grid position, hopefully better than 21st for race 2. The
pace car is coming in on this lap. At the moment, behind the pace car, we've got Stuart Easton in 12th. Norrie Hager is 13th. Chris Walker, who was complaining this morning, well, quite cheerfully, as he would do, that he can't get any feeling from his bike in the wet.
And he said
his feeling in the dry was good, but he wasn't feeling it very well in the wet. Tommy Hill is already in 17th place, just behind James Hillier and Dan Linfoot. So he's made up 12 places with the help of a few people cartwheeling out. So the Nissan safety car heads up pit lane, and now it's down to Shaky Byrne to set things off. He's looking over his shoulder, he's boxing them in, and then he lights up the Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki and dives into Paddock Hill.
Look at Rutter going into 3rd from 4th. Has he got 3rd? I think he has.
I think he's cutting inside now because he looked to go outside number 2, Josh Brooks. Now he cuts inside into Druids Hill.
Yeah, Brooks ran really wide at Paddock Hill.
And now the drop down here. This is so treacherous.
This is the bit. This is the corner. Graham Hill.
Oh, and Gary Mason just burst downhill inside Tristan Palmer. 2 Midlandsons going at each other there.
Shaky Byrne sliding. The thing spun all the way out of Graham Hill bend there.
Shaky Byrne won the opening race of the championship round the Brands Hatch 1.2 mile Indy circuit 12 months ago in rather different conditions. Here, that was Michael Laverty back in the pits.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. They were having a bit of a conflab in that Samsung Honda garage and trying to come up with a plan, and he will want to get out and get a lap in for a grip position in race 2.
Gary Mason's revelling in these conditions. He got the power down really early and veered round the Taiko Suzuki of Josh Brooks through into 4th place.
It's all about getting a little bit of feel, and to get feel you need a little bit of grip, and to do that you need to know where the grip is, because it's very inconsistent. We've seen that Graham Hill bend's really slippy, a little bit of clearways are slippy as the track drops away. Other places there seems to be a little bit of grip to be had.
Tommy Hill's gone backwards. He's now behind Scott Smart's Moto Repeat Ducati in 19th place, just ahead of number 53 Sandro Polita on the Gentin Dutson Panigale Ducati.
It looked like Freddie Foray with his distinctive kind of day-glow yellow helmet was making moves as well.
Yeah, there is Freddie Foray just behind Josh Brooks now, so Freddie Foray is making a move up there.
That's Alistair Seeley's behind, yeah.
Number 10 now at the front, John Kirkham leads the way as they come round to wrap up lap 6 out of 30. And this is a long, punishing race in these conditions.
It is. I tell you what, it's torture in these conditions. But let me tell you, John Kirkham's impressed me all weekend. He says he's fitted in with the team. He loves the team. He's got a really good crew chief, and he's just reveling it. He says they're doing everything he wants and giving him the bike he needs to do what he needs to do.
He was backing it in, really confident.
And that is a confidence thing.
Down the hill, there's 67 Byrne, number 4 Rutter, number 101 Gary Mason.
Mason, yeah.
Behind him, Tristan Palmer just calmly going about his business on the debut of GP Moto in this class. There's the two Taiko Suzukis together. Alistair Seeley leads Josh Brooks.
And in the past, we have seen that John Kirkham's best results have always been in kind of iffy conditions, damp, puddly, wet, lack of grip conditions.
Look at that, Rutter cuts underneath. Now, can he hold on to that? The two Kawasaki's together, of course. The green one, the more likely Kawasaki, Rutter moves through to second.
Yeah, and Rutter, if anybody can find any kind of traction and grip in these conditions, it's Rutter. He's got all the experience. He was absolutely unbeatable in these conditions some years ago. He's kind of slacked off in these conditions a little bit, but he's still got the experience to make it count.
This is his 371st British Superbike race. There he is, Michael Rutter, 39 years old.
And look at the gang of people behind. It's just, they're all together.
And look, if you look back through that lot, people making progress. 99, Luca Scassa,
yep.
The former Italian Superbike champion with MV Agusta, who also raced a year in the States. He's now 8th ahead of Dan Lindford and Freddie Foray.
Going forward as well is Scassa, because he's just put a 55.9. He's the only other man on track doing 55s. He's Kirkham, and he's only just quicker than Scassa, and that's in traffic for Scassa.
Yes. So the big Italian who has really been enjoying himself here.
There he is.
There he is, number 99, Scassa. He's enjoyed the weather. He's been touring around in his motorhome, looking for places to ride his mountain bike. You could probably help him on that, James.
Oh, definitely if he comes to Yorkshire, yeah. He's looking to get up the inside of Brooks now.
Now as we go round that, Alistair Seeley now ahead of, or trying to get, he is ahead of Tristan Palmer. So Seeley, who scored his only race win in British Superbikes 2 years ago in these kind of conditions at Brands Hatch,
yep.
Now running 4th.
Yep.
And Tristan Palmer, I know, he's such an unruffleable character.
But do you know, when you speak to him in the paddock, it's like his hobby should be kind of collecting stamps or butterflies or
Airfix kits.
Exactly. But unbelievable that we can ride a bike like this.
Ian Lowry also looking strong. He's in 10th place, enjoying himself on the Paget's Honda. Foray's now been nudged back to 11th. Hager is 13th. Tommy Hill outside the points in 20th place, lapping 157.1. So well off the pace at the moment. Having said that, he's done a 56.6 and leapt 3 places to 17th.
Fastest man on track. The man in second, Michael Rutter, the Rainmeister.
55.18. Fastest lap of the race for that man, Rutter, number 4. Kirkham, John Kirkham, number 10. Oh, we've got a faller. Is that Palmer?
It's Palmer, definitely.
Tristan Palmer was running so well on the GP Motors Fireblade. He's gone down on the purple bike, qualified it on the front row of the grid. That's cruel luck.
I think there's an handlebar off there by the look of it. I think he's out. There's something wrong. He's not getting that going again. A lever's bust, I think.
Palmer is best lap 55.89. It might hold the man from the Midlands in good stead, of course, for a reasonable starting position on the grid on the second row, but he stalks off.
I honestly think most people doing almost the same times, and people will get quicker towards the end of the race as they get to read the conditions a little bit.
And Michael Rutter with a 54.658. He and Kirkham dip into the 54. So too did Seeley. So too did James Westmoreland down in 14th place. So it wasn't Westy who went down on a WFR Honda.
It wasn't. No, you're right. It was a split lap to Brilliant, I think.
Alex Lowe's is still out there. It could well have been Graham Gowland. Gowland went out right at the beginning. He might have been the guy fetched off. Stuart Easton has come in, and Easton was just on the fringe of the top 10. So Easton, perhaps, after coming back from such very serious injuries, the conditions are simply too much for him to really risk everything out.
Well, I hope the riders down the straight can see a little bit more than we can down the Stoutenbury straight. That's better. Look at this, Rutter. I remember Rutter's breakthrough ride in World Championship racing was... Oh, here we go!
That was Scasser.
Yeah, that's Scasser.
That really caught him out, coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. The big Italian looks okay.
He looked to clobber the barrier pretty hard, I've got to say, but he's a big, strong lad, is Scasser.
Oh, and he looks a bit thrown about by that.
Let's have a look. But I mean, I've got to say, you cannot do that in the wet. You can't do that in the wet. Glances off the Armco. Yeah,
so
I mean,
look at Scasser. He looks all right. He's running back up. He'll be miffed.
He's all right.
He crossed the line in 6th place.
You're unsighted to people in front of you, and it just takes a little bit too much pressure on the front brake lever, and it's away. And once it goes, you don't get it back.
So what awful news then for Jenny Tinmouth on the HardingSorrymate.com Honda, who has gone down on the sighting lap. So 31 riders will line up then on the grid, with Josh Brooks on pole position for the Tyco Taz Honda.
Yeah, and Josh Brooks...
Suzuki even.
Yeah, looking cool and kind of all right and relaxed, as was Shane Byrne. I've never seen a man as relaxed on a when it's conditions like this.
Shaky looked terrifically impressive, as particularly on his favourite bit, coming out of Druids and the drop down to Graham Hill Bend. He had the bike set up beautifully, and it was moving underneath him, but he was really comfortable.
Yeah, and do you know what? Don't matter where we go in Britain or just about any circuit in the world, you know Shaky's going to put a decent performance in on any bike. He's a kind of quality rider, is Shane.
The grid then lines up with Josh Brooks on pole position, and 2nd place goes to John Kirkham. Shane Byrne, John Kirkham there, good time from him.
Is, yeah.
Shane Byrne in 3rd. Tristan Palmer, what an entrance back into British Superbikes for the former Privateers Cup champion. He's on the front row of the grid on the purple GB Motors Honda. That team debuting in British Superbike.
Get straight on with the action from a rather damp and cold Brands Hatch, and join our commentary team of James Whittam and Jack Burnicle.
A full grid sets off towards Paddock Hill Bend. Here we are at Brands Hatch, back at Brands Hatch. We're on the Indy circuit. The original 1 mile circuit opened Easter Sunday 1950, but that actually was 1 mile round running in the opposite direction. Didn't have this hill up towards Druids. It really was a little kidney shape without that rise up to Druids Hill Bend and the drop back down. It was great to see Hector Neal, the owner of the co-owner with his son Philip of the Taz Suzuki outfit, giving a thumbs up after he'd acted as umbrella boy for Josh Brooks, giving Josh a thumbs up, because at breakfast this morning Hector said to me, it's going to be good for somebody. And already it's not good for Jenny Tinmouth. Oh, the lady in bright British Superbikes has gone down on the sighting lap. Jenny Tinmouth has crashed. I think she's all right. Oh, and it's that Graham Hill Bend again.
It is.
Oh, she's come down the hill. She's come off down the hill from Druids. Wow.
And do you know what? That's easily done, you know, because...
Tyco Suzuki looking anxiously on. Byrne leads the way at the moment for the Samsung Honda team. Kirkham is in 2nd place.
Let's see what happened to Patrick Muff.
Ooh, that was a high side that took Muff down. It was a high side coming out of Druids, and it's one of the Samsung bikes. It was Michael Laverty. I think it was Michael Laverty who Patrick Muff was getting aerated with.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, Patrick, but I don't think he did that deliberately.
He didn't. He'd already off the bike.
So Samsung Honda looking on aghast, because Michael Laverty has made, well, the worst possible start to his campaign, and Adrian Gorst, the New Zealand crew chief who won world championships with Colin Edwards, won't be too pleased about that.
No,
I should not imagine.
No further part to play in the race, so his man's out.
Except to mend the bike.
Yep, true.
Shaky Byrne leads the way then on the Rapid Solicitors Kawasaki. The Samsung Honda in 2nd place, number 10 is John Kirkham. 3rd for Josh Brooks, number 2. 4th, number 4, Michael Rutter. 5th, 33, Tristan Palmer. 6th, Gary Mason ahead of Freddie Foray. Tommy Bridewell, Alistair Seeley 9th. Ian Lowry just ahead of his teammate Scasser is in... Lowry is 10th, Scasser 11th. They're on the Padgett's Hondas. What did you
not
do
pleading,
that for?
Yeah, that's exactly what he was. Rollicking is what he was doing.
I think that's probably what it was. Yes, there's 2 men I think Patrick Muff's one of them. It's a Swiss rider on the right-hand side there who's looking really miffed. Patrick Muff not happy at all. The number 24, the 29-year-old on the supersonic BMW, really furious.
He is furious. I think there's something happening, because the riders are They're touring, so yeah, that's the course car's out now.
Shaky Byrne, Kirkham, Brooks, Rutter are the front four. Palmer 5th, Mason 6th, Foray in 7th. And look at watch Norrie Hager.
Yeah,
he hit that white line, and that was it. He came
so
to
easy to do. And once you get it spinning, Jack, it doesn't come back. You've got to close the throttle almost entirely to get it gripping again. And I think, here we go. Yeah,
oh, he didn't even
hit the white line. It just went.
And Alistair Seeley got impeded. He had to shut off right behind Norrie Hager.
We're looking for the WFR Honda. I think it's Westmoreland getting just completely wiped out there.
Ooh, yeah, that's a mess. There's some work to do on that bike to make race 2. But it looks like, oh, is Westy all right? This is one of the Aprilias being taken up. That's Florian Marino, the 18-year-old Frenchman, 8th in the World Supersport Championship last year. What a terrible start to his BSB campaign. And then Freddie Foray, former World Endurance Champion. The Frenchman heads up row 2 ahead of Noriyuki Haga, Tommy Bridewell, who finished on the rostrum here last year, and Michael Rutter. Then we got Stuart Easton, Lucas Scasser, Ian Lowry and Gary Mason. 4th row, Seeley, Gowland, Hickman, Walker. Anything could happen. Bang in the middle of picture. Norrie Hager, what history he's got round here since way back in 1998 at Brands Hatch. Can he write some more? Well, it's all possible. Any of these guys, it's going to just depend so much. If Brooks gets the start, he could just set the pace from the front.
He's pointing down the hill. That's the best thing to do up there.
Red lights on the light. Oh, Norrie Hager gets a horrible slide and hit one of those lines you talked of straight off.
That's what it is.
Shaky Byrne leapt to the front. Norrie was turned sideways, and he is right back, almost with teammate Tommy Hill near the back of the grid as they go through this race. 2 riders down, straight off down Paddock Hill Bend. I think they're both okay.
One of the WFR boys was definitely off there. That was definitely a WFR Honda.
Dropping down the hill. Oh, well, this is going to be so difficult. Let's hope they can stop before they reach the path of the bikes. They do.
I think that's got to be, I'm assuming that's got to be a red flag.
And that looks like someone pleading the